Welcome back to Ill Eagle Culture Brands Talk. I am your host, John Ostos, aka Ill Eagle CEO, and I'm here with my two counterparts, Dion Two Cup Larry.
I got no cups.
Dion Buttercup Larry, and
aka Young Jamie, right?
Yeah,
Young Jamie. What's that from?
Joe Rogan podcast.
Oh, Jamie, we got to get you a laptop, huh?
Yeah.
And Cody, average meat Mauk.
Yeah, very average.
Super average.
Yeah.
Cody, smaller than that other guy in the gym, Mauk.
You guys need to.
His son was taking pictures in H&I with him, and I didn't know who was who, if Cody was the baby or...
Yeah. It's got him beat now, huh? That's what they call... you didn't get beat, you lost.
Yeah.
Because you downgraded.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he is a pretty big human.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I think he's gonna be a big meat when he gets older.
Yeah.
He looks like he has the stature coming.
yeah.
That's what's up.
Well, he's wearing like 9 month to 12-month clothes right now,
Oh wow.
and he's just about to be 7 months. So he's gonna be tall for sure, I think.
Does Kate have height in her family? I know you're not. You're probably the runt of your family, right? Because you got some height, decent height.
Yeah, I am definitely the shortest, I believe, out of all the Mauks. But Kate does have some pretty big humans in her family too. Like one of her cousins actually played for the Steelers, and he was on the championship team, so he has a Super Bowl ring.
Did he play?
Yeah,
Oh, what's his name?
Matt Spaeth.
Oh, I actually, yeah, okay.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Really?
Not him. I don't remember that time period, but I've played Madden and I've seen him on there and stuff like that. So that's crazy.
He's actually coming to town this next Friday, so I'm going to meet him.
Oh, that's awesome.
So, but yeah, so there's some height there. But you know, as long as he's taller than me, I'll be happy with it.
Yeah.
What if he beats you up?
We'll cross, we'll cross that bridge when we get there.
Yeah, I guess.
No, you can never beat up your dad.
You can, if he makes you mad enough.
Old man strength is always a thing.
Well, it's always too that you got to think about the 18 plus years of training. By the time you get the confidence, you've been molded to think you can't.
Yeah, that's a thing.
You know what I mean?
I don't know.
Like my son Angel, I think he's taller than me now. I think he's past me in height, bro. He's 16 years old. The fool's driving around now. He's loving that.
Yeah.
But he'll never.
By the time he's 22, he's gonna have a mind switch. I think he'll come after you.
I don't know.
He'll come back.
By the time I was Angel's age, bro, I had been in so many fights, shotguns. You know what I mean? Like been hit with bats and chains. You name it.
Just don't get caught slipping. That's all I'm saying.
He ain't ready, bro. Don't make me beat up my son when I go home.
This is for in a couple of years.
You know what Dion told me?
Yeah.
I think Parker's probably more the one you got to worry about.
Nah, not at all.
No?
You would think, but he's not.
No?
Not at all.
I don't know. He's still young though.
He's getting a little fights to him though.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he respects the king.
For now,
Yeah,
it happens. You guys don't get it. It'll switch up eventually.
Oh, yeah.
I'll be too old for it to matter by the time it does.
You got to put those little bastards in their place.
Yeah.
I'm gonna hit your dad up and tell him that you think you could take him.
I kick him right in his knees. You know, that's what I've always said. I would never box my dad. That's for sure.
He shoots a gun with his knees. I'm gonna have to teach him some things, man.
Yeah. So you gotta find their weak spots. That's all.
I suppose. Yeah. Well, shit, guys. So let's get talking about our next topic. Last week we talked aliens, pyramids. The week before that we talked aliens.
Yeah.
This week we decided to switch it up, and I don't think we'll do these concepts forever. We got to get a couple guests on here and turn things up a little bit. But we decided to dive in to Charles Manson. Now, there's a lot of people generationally now who probably don't even know who Charles Manson is. As I was doing my research, which is just watching documentaries and all kinds of other crazy shit, I did come across too, like they talk about how today's people who know Charles Manson, he's famous and praised, as being this cool, like historical character, but most people don't really understand the depths of what he fucking did. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, they probably wouldn't think he was like this cool, like rock star type character, how people put like Chi on a shirt and shit, and they think he's like this awesome fucking rebel from the past and shit. They don't have a fucking clue what the guy actually did. That's how people view Charles Manson right now.
That's weird.
But if you dig deep enough, you'll realize that there's some sick and twisted. Now, and don't take this the wrong way. I'm not saying Charles Manson is cool. whatever he did, at some point he became at fault for doing.
Yeah.
But man, there's some crazy stories behind why he did the things, and some speculation and theories behind why he did the stuff that he did. Yeah. And as we kind of dissect that here on this conversation today, we'll get into, all the details about that. But to start the conversation off, let's just say Charles Manson is probably one of the most historical I don't even know. I think he did kill, yes, but that's not what he's known for. He's known for getting other people to do the killing.
Yeah.
So they've never actually proven that he's murdered anybody.
No, there was one. Oh no, he didn't kill him. He shot him. That black guy, when he tried to start the race war, he shot the drug dealer because the drug dealer called the ranch and made a threat, but he was referring to a different Charles that was part of the family.
Yeah.
And Charles, Tex. Yeah, and Charles was the one who answered the phone, and the guy threatened him, thinking it was the same Charles, and he was like, "Oh no, I'm gonna come down there and talk to you." Well, he ended up shooting the guy as soon as he got down there because he was holding one of the girls hostage over some drug money. But I remember thinking like, "Oh, he did kill somebody," but no, that guy lived and then was gonna retaliate. So he did shoot somebody, that was known. But yeah, they never proved that he actually killed anybody.
Yeah,
and the stories from all the other people in the family, they confirm that
there is some one of his uncles actually growing up. I think it was on his mom's side or something. He ended up actually getting a knife stuck in his chest, and they can never prove anybody that Charles was involved, but they suspect that.
Did he die? I never
he's dead. Okay. Yeah. So they suspect that he might have done it as in retaliation, but they don't know for sure. So
part of the mystery behind Charles Manson, not only his ability to manipulate others and essentially brainwash them and mind control them. Now, granted, he had a lot of people in vulnerable states already, had been through all kinds of trauma prior to running into Charles. Drugs were involved, things of that nature. But this guy, he was living a crazy life.
Yeah.
I mean, he had women galore, willing to do whatever, whenever. It was like a family rule. You know what I mean? Like, they had crazy sex, drugs, alcohol, you name it. It was all going on. This guy was essentially like living the dream, and he had control over everybody.
Yeah.
How he gained that control is what comes into question. How did he have the ability or the know-all to do that kind of a thing and control minds the way he did? Lots of theories out there. I'm always going to ride the conspiracy theory concept. He potentially had it done to him and was trained how to do it to others. And is part of why, and I'm just going to jump right into it, why I believe when people say, like, why did he not get the death penalty? Why did he get life in prison? Why is he had all these breaks and chances? And I think it's because they needed to further their research. I think if you listen to him talk, when all his interviews, he never says they did it to him per se. Like, the government mind controlled me. No, but he does say things like, when they say, well, what happened? Why did all this ever take place to begin with, Charles? And he says, well, consider it a failed experiment. Their experiment failed, and now they don't know what to do. It's almost like he can't tell, but he's conscious and wants to tell, but he can only say it in roundabout ways because he's been mind controlled. And I believe the reason why he stayed alive was because their research was a lifelong thing. They want to see how long could we control somebody? How long could we keep somebody from telling what they know deep down inside, why they're doing the things they're doing?
Yeah.
And if we put them in all these vulnerable situations and sent them to prison and made them live certain ways, would they end up telling eventually? So I think it was all part of something bigger than we understand, and they were continuing their research, hence why the guy got to live life in prison.
Yeah.
He loved it in prison.
Yep.
Yeah.
He was there.
Or did he? Did they just tell him he did? You know what I mean? Shit
so
like
what,
that.
What are you referring to?
MK Ultra.
Exactly.
Yeah.
MK Ultra.
It's a known fact, right, that they were doing this back then. The whole creation of the race war was what they tried to pin him for. They tried to say he was starting a race war, but none of the details added up that they tried to connect that to. Yeah. And it started with that drug dealer who was the black guy that made a deal with Tex, and then Tex stole money. He kidnapped the girl. Charles got involved, and and that's how this all came to be. But it wasn't a race war that he was starting. I think that was just something they were playing off of it. I think like they did our president today. So I see. I think I don't know if YouTube's going to catch this. I know it. I think the guy today is being Charles Manson.
That was a very delicate, roundabout way of saying that. So no names involved.
Yeah. Well, I think he's being Charles Manson. I think Charles Manson was the test for all the potential official people in the U.S. today who are doing things that are making us go, what the that can't be real. And in the back of their mind, they don't even realize they're doing this because they're all Charles Manson.
Well, it's very strange that you say that because I was listening to this podcast and they were talking about all of these different theories of who was involved in MK Ultra and if there was celebrities that are today that are involved with mind control techniques and whatnot. And then they were going through a couple of different scenarios and saying like if you look at somebody and then they just like have a blank stare and then they don't know or they're stuttering or they forget what they're talking about. And
you mean like all the mass killing shooters?
That's one example, but I'm just talking about like the very leader of the free nation. So they're saying like they could be like feeding him information, like telling him what to say and whatnot, and he's just like staring, and then or he'll forget what he's talking about.
They didn't expect him to age so quick upstairs to where the mind control would start affecting him. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Cannot compute.
Yeah. Thousands of liters of come on, man.
The thing.
The stuff,
Yeah. Right.
I don't know. Bro, the crazy part is how of all the things we can go, I think in the last few episodes we've gone as left as we could in opposite directions, but somehow keep ending up back at the damn government.
Oh, yeah.
It's so wild how you can just identify how much control and how much hands in they have on so many things, or how much speculation is anyways that they have their hands in on so much.
The CIA scares the shit out of me. Like, I think that they're just so out of control and they don't have any oversight. And to reel those guys back in, I think they should have military oversight. There should be top generals that are in charge of the CIA to keep track of all of the paperwork and all the paper trails and all of that. But MK Ultra started back in the 1950s. They started testing LSD drugs. They perfected it. They used mind control techniques like they would do electroshock therapy, starvation, sleep deprivation. They started.
A lot of this was justified research back in the day. Yeah. Like we didn't know better, and we had our enemies in other countries who were using these kind of weapons. You know what I mean?
They heard that the Russians were. They heard that the Russians were trying to do that themselves, and so they had funded this project, and they were trying to beat the Russians. So they started testing it on prisoners, and eventually they made their way over to Europe and testing it on those subjects and. It was pretty fucked up. What they used to do, but one of the guys involved was a CIA scientist. Christopher, I think his name, Gottlieb, was in charge of this whole project, and he sounds like a fucking psycho. Like he was in charge of the whole thing from start to finish. But
keep in mind, like we talked about before, though, all these guys had to be like some kind of sociopath or something to get clearance to do any of this kind of weird stuff, not just the alien stuff, but the MK Ultra, the government infiltration of everyday civilians and the way they destroyed people's lives, especially back in the 60s and stuff, where they were taking former, servicemen and police officers and putting them with prostitutes, dosing them up, and then getting them hooked up with a woman, and then afterwards asking them all these questions. What do they do for a living? All this stuff. And there's somebody watching this shit the whole time taking notes. And so but now it's kind of justified if you look at it based on the times. We didn't know any better. We had to find ways to combat this potential type of warfare that was coming from, Russia and China and stuff. But it's still wrong because you're taking innocent people and innocent lives and you're completely destroying and corrupting them. But it was in the name of, safety and security of a nation. that made it justifiably okay, which is always a fucked up situation. Our government likes to play that game.
So one of the scientists that was involved with doing this project, he kind of was like, this is wrong. Like he was like about ready to quit. And then one of his coworkers, they had taken him to a psychiatrist, and eventually one day this dude jumped out a window and he committed suicide, I guess. And so a few years later, his son had his body exhumed. Turns out he had a abrasion or a hematoma on his skull from being hit. And they basically
prior to the jump fall.
Prior to the jump, yep.
Okay.
It's prior to the jump. They basically they whacked the guy, right?
Yeah.
And so his son and that dude's family was going to go public about this. Well, the president got involved. Gerald Ford sat him down, gave him $700,000 to keep quiet.
That's not enough.
And that was it. That was back
then, yeah.
So, but they gave him $700,000 to keep quiet.
That was a lot of money back then,
Yeah.
though, for
And
sure.
that was it.
If it was in Bitcoin.
They had all this this information on MK Ultra and the projects, and then I don't even know if any of that shit. Yeah. None of that shit's probably public, but
We know that MK Ultra was real, though.
It was a real thing,
That's
for
a
sure.
very public, confirmed, and acknowledged practice of the CIA and military officials and whatnot.
Yeah.
But the people they've used it on, it's like, yeah, it exists, but we haven't used it on anyone here. It's just like, okay.
So the other interesting one was Project Monarch, which was MK Ultra, but for kids. And this is a theory. This is not, I don't know for sure, but they said that they used MK Ultra on kids, basically the ones that were sexually abused or had trauma in their past. They would try to control them, and then they would use these kids to find people in vulnerable situations like politicians and stuff, and use them to,
Get that information out of them, whatever.
Get the information or set them up.
Yep.
Which got me thinking, like,
Like everything going on today.
Epstein Island.
Yeah.
Like, we still haven't heard who the fuck was on the list.
Well, we're never gonna.
That's been a long time.
That's
coming,
crazy. Yeah.
Right.
So we haven't heard what's on the Epstein list, but goddamn, they found that fucking.
Well, look at how much distractions happening every day in the world to keep us from all the things that they should be talking about. It's like, you know what I mean? And it, I don't know. I don't want to get into politics because that's where we're headed, obviously. And I know all of this leads us back to that. But let's talk about the politics around Charles Manson more in depth. So the MK Ultra is a real thing. We know it's going. What you're talking to brings us right into that, because now some of the theory is that potentially that's who Charles Manson was. He was one of these kids growing up who was in and out of the juvenile system, didn't have his mom. His mom ended up going to jail. His dad was dead or something like that. So there was this kid who had been in the system his whole life, in and out of the juvenile system, then into the prison system right away. He could, behind the scenes, and this is something you'll never see them talk about on these documentaries and shit that are over Netflix and YouTube and everything, is they don't talk about. There's a couple people who have written books and done some investigative reporting on the conspiracy theories around Charles Manson and answering the questions that no one's ever bothered to answer, that you would think your average government official or police officer or detective would ask, and they don't, or they have, and then they've been silenced, is what the theory is, right? But why did he get off so many times? Why was he able to roam free? Why was he able to get away? Why did he have the mind to get away with this kind of stuff all of a sudden when he was never known for being this kind of person? People who had done stints with him in prison and knew him before he was the world famous Charles Manson said when they got out of prison, he was a completely different person. This hippie, earth-loving, God-body type personality, the voice that he spoke in, the twang that was in his voice, all of that was completely different than the man that they knew in prison. And so it was like a switch change when he got out. But no one talks about his parole officer and his ties to the CIA, and the different programs that his parole officer was a part of, and how he ended up in the Fed working with Charles Manson. They didn't talk about all the times that people made phone calls to let Charles off of things or to tell him there was bigger things happening. And they had, they don't talk about all that stuff because they want us to understand that Charles Manson was just this psychotic, manipulative person who got other people to kill for him. They don't cover the backstory. They don't talk about how he became that person. Where did he get the ability and the smarts to be able to do that kind of stuff when that was not who he was? He didn't even like to read books.
Yeah.
So you're telling me this dumb guy just turned smart, or did somebody coerce it, train it, manipulate it, mind control him into a certain way, and then say, now go and practice this on other people? They're trying to figure out if they can build what we see today. A bunch of political officials who, most case scenarios, aren't in their right mind, right? Like Charlie Manson, he was weird. He didn't make sense. But it was about things that didn't really affect us as a nation yet.
Right.
Now we're seeing things that don't make sense, and we're like, come on, this can't be real.
Yeah.
But it is.
Yeah.
And it just don't make sense. So you almost think like, maybe they're in the trap right now, and they don't even realize it. Just like Charlie did it. And they're manipulating people underneath them because the practice has been done. The stage has been set. They've done the research for the entire lifetime of this man who died in prison.
Right.
And never once actually came out and said officially he talked about the government and their, they want to take over and they're bad for business and this, but he never said specifically the government did this to me. The government, the CIA has been mind controlling me to be this way. He just said their experiment went bad.
Yeah.
They, them, like constantly saying this, but never actually saying. It was almost like he couldn't. And I feel like sometimes the politicians today, they just can't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They can't. They get fumbled up like that guy
the
does.
Blank stare.
Yeah, the blank stares.
Yeah.
The things that don't make any common sense or logical sense whatsoever.
Yeah.
And we just go right over that. The news media doesn't cover it, doesn't talk about it. We just keep jumping over it. We're, things that even us as common day people who aren't politicians, who aren't into finances, who aren't into business, the banking system, all that stuff that goes on, we're not into none of it. And we're looking at these people going, what the fuck?
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense. Why would they even think that's normal?
Yeah.
But they do. And it's almost as if though it's because they're all Charles Manson.
Well, it's shit's crazy though with that whole the whole family. Like so MK Ultra for sure, for sure that they used LSD to try to control people, right? Well, Manson did the same exact thing, using LSD on all of these young people, and
he introduced them to their trips and their visions that they would have, so that they would have them.
Yeah. And I don't know if this is true, but I was told that they showed him how to fake taking it himself while giving it to somebody else. So like he would drug up all of his family members, but he would stay sober and not do it. So
there was rumors that his parole officer was the one that was getting him the drugs because he also ran what was it, a health clinic or a recovery clinic, and so he would go meet with him basically every week or whatever, and the family would come with. And they were like, why are these women going with? Well, they were pregnant and they were having, obviously, abortions and things like that. They'd have diseases, obviously, from having unsafe sex and go and get that fixed. But they also say that he possibly was getting the drugs at the time because how would he be making money?
Right. Well, that was the thing, too, is they didn't really thrive off of money.
Yeah.
I mean, there was always some speculation, like, did he do this for money? Did he do that for certain things but there was never any proof or evidence that money was involved.
Yeah.
This guy just lived a free life off of Mother Nature, off of the earth, but somehow they always had enough drugs to take care of 40, 50 people living on a ranch together.
Upwards.
I know they ate garbage and shit all the time, though. That was how they ate. They'd go behind grocery stores and find recently thrown out groceries that were just dated, but still good. And they would pick through that stuff, wash it, eat it. That was how they lived without money. Yeah. And they have video footage of them doing
100 members there at once. They had 100 members. That's when they lived out at the Spawn Ranch.
Yeah.
Spawn Ranch.
And it's weird too because there's people who were there who are still alive today and not in trouble. They've been out.
Yep.
But they were a part of the Manson family, and they tell, inside counts of what went on. And it's still like conspiracy theory. Like, that's weird to me. You know what I mean? Like, if you were there, you lived with Charles Manson, you banged the same chicks he did, you did his drugs, and then you told the government, nah, these are the things that were going on, or you told the police, this stuff is weird, it doesn't add up, this isn't who he was, he became, and you're just like, okay, cool, thanks for the info. All right, see, and then you spin your own story anyway. It's a race war, and they're like, no, that had nothing to do with race war. Charles, you know, he had people of color around. It wasn't a race war. He wasn't trying to start one. But look what's happening today. And we've had race war. We've also seen a certain segregated group of people be spun out to be bad kind of people when they're not bad people, right? Like, you know, patriots. But back then, so all these theories are A, that he did all this stuff to start a race war, which the evidence is fraudulently put together for that. Or B, that the government did this to make the hippie movement look like a bunch of psychotic, murdering, you know,
they didn't want
killers,
peace and love.
Right. He wanted to pretend it wasn't really about that, so the government spun. So there's all these theories, but it's like, if you look at today's occurrences, that's all happening. That's all in the exact format. There's they tried to incite a big race war, and guess what? Someone who was on drugs was the culprit for helping start that. They've taken a big group of people that they're trying to make out to be bad people in this country, when they really just want what's best for this country. Where, like, hippies, supposedly back in the day, they just wanted peace and love.
Yeah, right.
So it's like, it's really weird how everything ties in together to today, to what we're witnessing. Not just like coincidence, oh, today this seems this. No, it's like what's happening right now that is really, really fucking bad in this country. Is an identical replica of what was happening then.
Right.
It's interesting because, like, when you watch interviews of Charles Manson, like, it's infatuating what he says.
Yeah, he's a trip.
But, like, you know, it's not right. Like, some things he says some facts and they sound really good, but then he says some things, it's like, okay, this guy's crazy, you know? But
he also had nothing but time to sit and think about how to talk about this stuff, bro.
Exactly.
And that's dangerous.
But then you can look at people today. You have, like, similar things happening, not through MK Ultra, but, like, you've got, like, pimps you could think of, like, they control women,
and that's how he started. That's how he started as a pimp.
Exactly. So I mean, you take individuals who have trauma, and obviously he had his own trauma as well, and they're easily malleable. Their brains are easily malleable when you can give them some sort of safety. Right. So you can think of it, and you've seen, like, the big business people that lots of people look up to. I mean, they do the exact same thing in a way, not in a negative way, but it's a positive way. But that's how you get people to follow your movement, you know?
Right.
And everybody does it in a way to whoever they're with, like your friend group you could think of.
Right.
Somehow you're doing it, you know?
There's always a leader of a group that influences other people to do things a certain way.
And it's interesting to see, like, they did it with drugs. And I think we talked about this on the last podcast. I said the same thing, but it's weird that, like, it's so easily, like, a person's brain can follow you anywhere if you tell them the correct information. You know? It's interesting.
It makes you kind of worried about, like, the legalization of everything.
Yeah, that too.
You know what I mean? It's like, do they really want us to have it legalized, or do they intentionally want it to be legalized so that they can make everybody dumb?
It's interesting. That's what it sounds like too.
It's so hard to tell when we're being fucked with.
Yeah,
it is. When we're just being given some genuine freedoms. You know what I mean? Like,
let me dangle this carrot in front of your face.
Yeah, like, is our government really relenting and saying, hey, the people deserve to have a vote to do things that they want? Or are they saying, you'll vote for what we let you vote for? And right now we want you to vote for this, so we're going to give it to you because we have an agenda with the dumbing down of the fucking society. You know what I mean? Like, it's stuff like that. You know, it's like, even with, like, alcohol and everything else, the more that they push it, like with this whole COVID shit, bro, like when bars were the only things you could have access to still and liquor stores, it makes you go, I don't know if I want to drink anymore.
Yeah.
What the fuck's going on? You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to fall for these traps. You want
me to stay indoors, but I can go out to the bar?
But you think of it this way, is like, it's a way for individuals to escape from reality.
And, that too, though,
and that's what they've consistently
But that's part
pushed.
of the dumbing down of society, right? Today, if you go to any self-help book, anything to advance your life, be more successful, anything like that, they talk about literally being aware of what's going on, being conscious of where you're headed, you know, not being dumbed down, understanding what's really happening. And so the push from whoever's trying to do whatever it is they're trying to do is, hey, look, why don't you just block this stuff out? Not think about it.
It'll be easy.
Wash it down with some alcohol, and you got nothing to worry about. We'll take care of you. Yeah. And majority of people are like, well, that's easy. I'll do that. Yeah. Because we are known for going after the easy, comfortable shit.
Right.
But everything is not supposed to be done that way. It's supposed to be difficult. We're supposed to be challenged. It's why it's why they have retirement, bro. I will never retire. I don't give a fuck if I have the money to or not. I don't ever want to retire because everyone I've watched retire, I've seen them decline, bro.
Yeah.
The average lifespan coincidentally is not even the word you can use when you say the average lifespan just happens to be 20 years after retirement. That's the amount of time the decline takes. That's been too slow. So now the decline happens even faster. Technology and look at us, how we look at some stuff. Even you're a young cat, but you're looking at younger dudes now and you're just like, fucking A,
it's bad.
It's getting bad,
It's getting real bad.
Because we're seeing
I'm a boomer
but
now.
This is the decline. This is what we're seeing, and we're accepting of it. We're actually helping that algorithm happen because of our frustrations, our stress, and our dislike for the way things are becoming. It's like we're saying, I can't wait to get the fuck out of here now.
Right.
You know what I mean? So the decline's happening faster. The goal is to fight that. The goal is to say, no, I'm never going to retire. I'm going to work till the day I fucking die. I'm going to use my brain. I'm going to stay physical. I'm going to do all these things till the day that I die. Because if I don't, the day that I die will be a lot sooner.
Right.
I mean, look at people who don't follow the rules of the system of go to school, get an education, get a job, work for the man forever, retire, and eat like shit and don't be physically fit.
Yeah.
That's like the people who oppose all of those systems, fuck, they look like they're fucking 30 when they're 50, 60 years old.
Right.
You know what I mean? The things they say are impossible, you see people do, and it's not that they're impossible, it's just that they are difficult. Yeah. But difficult is supposed to be a part of life. The challenges are supposed to be there. You know what I mean? I like welcoming haters is part of the game. When people want to deteriorate you, make things difficult, become obstacles for you, you're falling into the trap.
Yeah.
If you go, I'll go this way.
Yeah.
I'll go that way. I'm going to avoid this. Oh, that's too difficult. I don't want to do that. I could never because that's hard. That's us falling for the trap, man.
Right.
You're supposed to oppose everything. You're supposed to go against the grain. You're supposed to work hard for things to be successful, to have longevity. Yeah. So all of this is just like it just feels like man, you can trace it back to the 50s, 60s, even in the 20s and the 30s.
Right.
You can see stuff like this taking place, right? And transitionally just gets worse and worse. And now we're looking at them, we're going, our kids are fucked. You know what I mean? And we want to try to do something, but as much as people like us who want to fight, who want to stand off, who are willing to leave no quarter, you know what I mean? Or give no quarter, like whoever's willing to play that game, it doesn't even matter right now.
Yeah.
There's not much we can do about it.
Right.
It's not enough anymore because it's too intelligent. It's too big now. I mean, back in those days, everything was trial runs. Now today, it's like the way of living, the way of doing politics, the way of doing government, the way of doing control. And you can tell because they pick and choose the things that they should be attacking, like Epstein and the collusion that's really happening. China taking over our country, someone like the computer guy taking
Bill
over
Gates.
our country. All these, I was trying not to say the name, but you'll let YouTube catch that. But like all those things, bro, like those things are on purpose and they're happening for a reason, and we can't do anything about it. But the government should know better and say, "Hey, this isn't acceptable." Like, in what?
It's weird, right?
Yeah, like why would you let someone buy out your whole country?
Yeah,
an enemy at that. It makes no sense.
And one dude buying up all the farmland.
Or why would you watch? Crazy. Why would you watch? Which they're obviously just making it look like this, but why would you watch one man who is the leader of a nation completely destroy the nation and excuse him every time he does it if it wasn't intentional?
Yeah. Right.
You know what I mean? But somehow, see, and this is what I hate about everything we're dealing with right now. There's no way to escape the political discussion.
Yeah.
There's no way. We're talking about Charles Manson, and here we are talking about the damn government again, right?
I mean, because it affects
I sidetracked us a little bit, I think.
Because it affects you. It used to not.
Yes.
Like, you used to be able to go to work and whatever, and who gives a fuck? It doesn't affect me. but now it's reaching out and touching you, and it's affecting you, and everybody is gonna feel it.
I just want to point out, since we are a little off topic, Donald Trump is going to be on the Nelk Boys podcast on Thursday.
Trump dog.
That's going to be interesting. It's the second one, so it'll be really interesting to see what he has to say this close.
I saw that.
That's weird to me though. Like, if he's the guy, they're claiming
he should be busy.
He shouldn't be going on fucking Nelk Boys to talk his shit, bro.
He's trying to
some
it
real
seems
people.
like an agenda.
Yeah. He's trying to reach the younger population.
He is,
right, but he's all he's doing is distracting, and prolonging. You know what I mean? Because
you know what he's going to talk about too.
And there's still people out there. You know what he's going to talk about? A bunch of shit that no one could do anything about.
He's going to say this world is going to shit.
Yeah,
these guys are going to control us.
But if you vote for me, but you gotta wait. If you vote for me, I'll fix this. It's like, if you could fix this, you could do it today. You don't have to wait to be voted in, but it's gotta look a certain way.
Tell us what we gotta do right
now. Here's the only fucking hope I have in all this, guys. I think we're gonna live long enough to live, right?
That's all I care about.
Because they wouldn't do it this way if there wasn't a plan to still exist, right? These people wouldn't be doing things in a weird way to where they're prolonging things. Like, if they wanted to destroy us, they just destroy us. They want to change us, which is destructive to our minds and our points of views of the way society's supposed to look. But I don't think they actually want to destroy America per se. They want to change America. And by change, it might mean that they're destroying what we understand to be our liberties, our freedoms, and the way it is.
You're going to eat bugs and like it.
I don't think it's going to be that extreme.
You're going to fucking eat bugs.
I do that.
I won't, because I'm going to be hugely successful. I'm not going to sit around and wait for these motherfuckers. I'm taking my piece of the pie, bro.
Where are you going to go?
Wherever the fuck I want to when I'm there.
Dude, no, you're gonna eat bugs.
Nah, I won't eat bugs. I'll be fine.
Bugs aren't even that bad.
Look, you know what survival of the fit means, bro? If you can't beat them, join them.
Yeah.
I'm going to turn on all you motherfuckers when it comes down to it. I mean, I'm going to take your food. I'm going to take your guns. I'm going to do whatever the fuck I need to make sure my family lives, homie.
I want to be up in the woods.
I might find myself next to the leader of the free world and be like, hey, homie, how else we going to get these people? We got to fuck them up.
Yeah.
Because
you're going to join the Boogaloo Boys?
I'm going to join everything.
The Boogaloo Boys.
Bro, I'm going to join it all.
He's the opposite of them.
John's going to get he's going to get a Hawaiian shirt.
Yeah. Fuck yeah, I am.
Boogaloo Boys.
Yeah. I'm going to get, what are those Oakley shades? What do they call them?
The visor ones?
Yeah.
Vipers.
Yeah. Pit Viper. I'm going to get some Pit Vipers, bro, and some Hawaiian shirts.
Oh my God.
With my haircut with Pit Vipers and like a visor, that's a look this summer.
I'm telling you, but when it comes down to it, if we can't find a way out of this shit, I'm just going to turn into one of them. I know how to survive.
Yeah.
That's what y'all should do. Infiltrate them right back.
And then 10 years
all you got to do is be like, you know what? You were right. Trump's bad for business. And they'll be like, welcome to the scene.
You got it.
It's an easy in, bro.
You're telling me that I can grow my following just by talking shit about Trump now?
I guarantee if you had a business and you go on social media, you'd blow up.
Oh, yeah.
I just don't. Yeah, I mean, but if for real, like if he really did want to be the savior, and I get he wants to get reelected, and that's why he would.
But you don't go on a podcast,
Nelk Boys podcast. Yeah, they talk about being freaking taking Zen pods and like being zapped and stuff, which is definitely not a good thing to talk about to a young audience. Like,
look, do you think that it's just that we're so unaccepting of what the future looks like that this is just the way things are now, right? Like, you have to go on. Here we are on a podcast talking about what a joke a podcast is, first of all, right? I know, but I agree. Like, you know, but obviously they're one of the biggest.
I disagree with you guys.
Obviously, listen though, check this out. Obviously, they're one of the biggest podcasts in the world, right?
Yeah, they have a lot of money.
So yeah, there's valid reason to want to go on to their show, and reach a different demographic of people that you otherwise wouldn't be able to reach.
Yep.
I just, from where I stand, from the old way of thinking, I guess, which was only 3 years ago, the old way. The old way, the former world.
Back when John thought everybody was racist.
Yeah, bro. I'll take that. I'm still unsure about you sometimes. Everybody else is good right now. The more time I spend with Cody, I'm like, damn, someone should shut him up. I don't think he realizes what he's saying right now. But you're all right. As long as you got two brown dudes on your side, you'll be safe.
You'll be safe. Sweet.
I don't think you're racist. I do think that a lot of people are so blindsided by their anger, their frustration, their hate, that they are starting to say and do things though that make them super suspect. And I don't think I mean suspect in the sense that they are racist. I just think that the things they're letting their frustration bring out of them makes you go, whoa, dude, chill the fuck out. Like, I agree with you, but I don't know if you're supposed to say it like that out loud. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I've seen a lot of that in friends and people that I fully support their belief system. I even support people who don't agree with the shit that I think, but only to an extent, right? You could disagree with me very intelligently, very maturely, and with a little bit of fucking common sense. But if you're just out here screaming because you want to be a part of and be included in a group because you don't know what the fuck else to do and you're scared of certain races or whatever, so you just jump on the bandwagon, stay the fuck out of my way.
Yeah.
Because you're going to get ran the fuck over, because I'm only willing to have the discussion with people who are level-headed. If you're just a fucking peon-ass puppet who doesn't really know what they're talking about, but you're, you know, jumping on the bandwagon or being all-inclusive, just this isn't your fight.
Yeah.
You're scared. You're too scared to stand up for what you believe in, so get out of the way. Because I know a bunch of people that don't agree with the way I think, and we have very civil conversations, and sometimes we go, hey, you got a good point. But you'll never get somebody's good point who has an opposite belief of you if all you do is scream and yell and act like a fucking moron and don't come with facts.
Sky screamer.
Yeah, you got to come with facts, right? Like if you're going to say, hey, this is the position I take because I want to hear the because part so that I can respect you.
Yeah.
And if it follows because you're racist, that's not an argument, right? Like when you tell people that they're racist to win your argument, that's a cop out.
Yeah.
That's a cop out. Being patriotic is not racist.
That's the go-to for people on the left.
So anyway, like the Charles Manson thing, if we can get back to that, they wanted everyone to believe it was a race war, right?
Yeah.
They wanted this is what they've spun it to be now, that he was trying to start the race war, and this is why he did all those things. But the race war theory doesn't connect. What does connect is the happened chance incidents that they talk about, how the killings took place, that it was a result of trying to draw the attention elsewhere. It was a result of people who owed him, and it was more retaliation than it was actual planned out like murders. You know what I mean? The whole situation with was it Sharon Tate? Sharon Tate situation, it was coincidence that she was there, I believe, because they were there for the producer who made a promise to Charles Manson about getting paid for X amount of music and this and that. Never followed through with his deal. Charles Manson said, you got to do what you got to do to take care of me. They went up there to get that dude, and everyone else got killed with him. Mm-hmm. Then to the other people who lived like next door that they went and killed, the grocery store owner and his woman.
So Roman Polanski was a movie producer.
Yeah.
And he was married to Sharon Tate, but he was actually in Europe at the time filming a movie. So it was Sharon Tate and then 2 or 3 of her friends that were in the house.
Yep.
And so when they came over, they killed all of them, including Sharon was pregnant at the time. So, and then there was neighbors, I believe, the Biancas.
Yes.
And I'm not sure if it was next door.
They were La Biancas or something like that.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it was next door or where that was, but they were also murdered. And they wrote on the wall like pig and in blood. Mm-hmm. They were trying to frame the Black Panthers.
Right.
That's what they were trying to do.
Because of a retaliation of a drug situation that went bad. It wasn't like a race war. They were just trying to pin it on someone else because they didn't want the Black Panthers to come after them.
Yeah.
But it got spun into he was trying to start a race war.
Well, and what happened was Charles said that he didn't want to know any of the information about the murders.
Right. And they all admitted that. This is the craziest thing about the story is everyone corroborated the same fucking details and about his involvement or lack thereof, and the police were still like, nah, we're getting him.
Yeah, exactly.
And there's no actual blood on his hands.
Yeah.
But for some reason they still pinned him, and it was because he was the test subject. They needed him.
Do you think that would happen today?
No.
Isn't that fucking crazy?
No way.
Like he went to prison for life.
Oh yeah, and
because other people killed.
Yeah.
That's what I was saying.
Who's that? The one girl that got off? Is her name Sadie or the one who says Tex did all the killing? She didn't. Anyway, she didn't actually go. She didn't go to prison, but she was there, right? Yeah. She was there, but she didn't do anything, and she ended up not serving time. So was Charles.
See, that's what I don't get.
Charles. In fact, Charles wasn't even there.
Mm-hmm. But he told us to do it. You know, it's fucking weird.
What? You can only blame other people for your actions so much. You know.
Right.
I mean,
when it comes to murder, I'm sorry. Like, you can't today. If you were to kill somebody, you can't be like, well, that motherfucker.
He told me to
do it,
yeah.
And then be like, arrest him.
At most it's a conspiracy to murder.
Like they think they got away with it because they said, all right, arrest both of them.
Yeah,
yeah.
But the focus was on the test subject.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The rest of them were the test subject.
And he didn't even say like, hey, go kill Sharon Tate.
No, he said, take care of me.
Do what you gotta do.
Go do something. Do what you gotta do.
Make me happy. Help me out.
Yeah.
Which everyone
Whatever
admits.
you gotta do.
Everyone admits, and he admits too. Which fine, but was it a test of the system? You think like, you know what I mean? The government was trying to test the things they could implement and get away with for the future.
Yeah.
So they said, hey, could we, if we needed to, blame the leader of the cult who didn't necessarily do anything, but were able to go after him for it, right? You know, like Trump. He incited it.
An extreme mega crowd.
He incited the MAGA crowd to be this way. These mind-controlled freaks who love America, racist sons of bitches who like the American flag. How dare them in America?
Biggest insurrection to have ever happened.
Like, again, they Charles Mansoned him.
Yeah.
It was like this was all a practice for what was to come.
Yeah.
It's weird, man. Super weird. But it always goes back to the fucking damn.
But it's been going on for freaking decades.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Decades.
But it's obviously evolved into something bigger. It's evolved into more. And look, I've even thought of it this way, man. And this is just for the sake of not having to admit America is fallen, bro. What if all those people are in fact already mind controlled by China and Russia? You know what I mean? They've done enough visits over there and they got switched and they don't even know that they're doing it. So it looks like from within our government's corrupt, but the reality is they're all brainwashed and mind controlled right now and they don't even realize it. Hence why they would do something as stupid as the things they're doing today between Ukraine and China and all the stuff that's happening. And they couldn't mind control Trump because the guy's ego and confidence is through the fucking roof.
They tried.
So he showed up to fucking North Korea and he's like, nah, motherfucker, we're gonna walk across the line here and things are gonna be over, all right? And they're just like, what happened? It's not working. Okay, we'll do it. Went to Russia and was just like, nah, sorry, Putin.
He called homie Rocket Man.
Yeah, bro, like
little Rocket Man.
They couldn't get him. You know what I mean? But everyone else, you know, the Bidens and all the political officials today, the Clintons, the Obamas, you name it, they've all gone and gotten controlled. That's just a theory I have. Like, what if they've all been controlled? And so we're already losing World War III as a direct result of this. And these people are doing things blatantly in front of our faces with foreign countries that we shouldn't be doing things with. And we're like, what the fuck? And they're like, chill out. It's not a big deal. Because they don't even comprehend the level of what they've done technically, right?
Yeah.
Right.
It's just, and it's no coincidence they've all been in hiding for the last 3 years. Right, nobody's making real public appearances, and when they do, everything about their appearance is questionable, from the backdrop of where they're at to where versus where they're supposed to be, and the look and feel of things, and the mics and the fake, you know, skins and the mask. You just name it. There's all this weird conspiracies around this stuff, but it's like maybe they are controlled, man.
I think we've graduated from using LSD drugs to using social media,
and deep fakes
and whatnot, but. Especially TikTok, like I believe that World War III has already started.
Yeah, it's cyber war.
If you look at all of what's going on today and this huge like transgender push in all of our younger generation,
which makes no sense.
Very confused about if they're a man or a woman or if they're a girl or a boy. They're very confused, and it stems from fucking TikTok, mainly in 2020 when we were quarantined. If you look back at the data,
all that there was time to do.
If you look back at the data, the amount of people that came out as trans started in fucking 2020. Like it's shot up like fucking some crazy 300% or something like that. And this all got started from fucking TikTok, which I'm all on board.
You see Montana just banned
TikTok. I'm all on board. Fuck, dude, I wish we could go back with just having no social media at all. I love being able.
Listen,
I love being able to connect with family and friends and stuff, though. Like everybody that I meet in the military, I love staying in touch with
and
those
then
guys.
talking trash.
And just
Yeah,
talking
but
shit.
your phone works the same way
trash.
as social media does. Text
But it's
messages,
like-
FaceTime,
yeah, I
all
mean, you
that.
could reach out, but when you want to keep track of fucking hundreds of people,
I like
you're
to
not
be
gonna
able to
text,
see
but-
how small Cody is on a
Listen,
daily.
and then I love like posting pictures and be able to go back and
See what you
your
did.
pictures. But fuck, dude, life was so much better before social media. I really believe that social media has ruined society big time.
Yeah.
Like it got out of control, and now we're fucking getting, our younger generation's getting programmed by all these stupid fucking influencers telling them that
they're
hey,
all
this is
probably
cool.
fake. Half
But
these
that's-
influencers.
They're probably fucking deep fakes too anyway. But
AI, bro.
That's the issue, though. The ability to monetize off of social media is what really destroyed social media.
Yeah.
But you can't make a way to not monetize off social media.
yeah.
So Charles Manson ended up dying. Yeah, we got to get back to it. Charles Manson ended up dying in 2017.
17, yeah.
At 84 or something like
84.
that.
Yeah.
And he still,
That's crazy.
He still had women fucking wanting to bang him, like marry him.
Oh yeah.
84-year-old.
Yeah, they were offering themselves as sacrifices to the dude his entire life in prison.
That's so weird.
Yeah.
And that's not just Charles. It's all serial killers. Like they've always
Yeah.
had freaking women that want to be with him. I'll never understand that.
It's that whole like bad guy thing that girls like. It's so weird. It's so weird.
That's what you get with like rappers, like drill rappers nowadays.
Yeah.
Women want them. It's weird.
Dude, I saw.
Even though they know because the guys are telling them blatantly in the music, like, I'm going to
murderous.
mistreat
Yeah.
you. You know what I mean? I'm going to be with other women.
I'm about to take your Nissan Altima.
But they're still like, oh, do it.
Yeah, do it.
this is really off topic, but I saw a clip on Instagram was talking about one of these famous. I don't know if she was a porn star or OnlyFans model, but she said that she's gotten with a lot of famous rappers that like to be pegged.
Oh, I've seen that too.
Yeah, I've heard that. Yeah.
Who Jeffree Star is?
Yeah,
Jeffree Star.
she does that too. She has a bunch of celebrities in her phone that she's got proof that she's hooked up with.
Yep.
Dudes who are on the DL.
Yeah.
Yeah, DL.
Yeah. She's like, these guys don't want no one to know, but this is the stuff that they call me all the time.
Yep.
And they don't just call her, they get it.
Yep.
That's fucked
Imagine
up.
that.
Imagine who.
Imagine that.
Imagine the who.
Yeah, that's true.
that sparks my curiosity more, the who.
Yeah.
Well, you sent me
Because Jeffree Star is not a real woman.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
That's the person
Jeffrey?
that's like the person that is Republican. The transgender
Yeah,
person that's
yeah, yeah.
Republican.
She's got a huge makeup company, like rich as fuck.
Yeah, I seen.
Insanely rich. But
She's not transgender, is she? She does cross dressing or is transgender?
She's transgender, I believe.
Well, I think she's.
I think she's fully.
She's not a cross dresser.
I think she's fully done up. I think so.
Like vagina and everything?
I believe so.
Are you sure?
Inside out.
I don't know.
We'll have to check.
You check.
You look into it.
When you sent me a video a while back with I don't know who it was. It was a female that was talking about Diddy.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah.
Who's that girl?
She used to work for him.
Okay.
Yeah, she used to be like one of his producers or something like that, and then she ended up getting into some bunch of stuff with him. But she had witnessed first count, all these things of him hooking up with rappers and Usher, fucking all kind, getting down with him, bro. And he would make them. He would make them serve him.
Right.
Your rap god Diddy, would make these dudes serve him. It was like an ego thing. She said she was like he likes women, and she didn't believe he was necessarily gay. It was a power thing for him.
That's gay.
Yeah. But a bunch of dudes came up in the game like that, like supposedly
Lil Wayne.
Yeah, like the Lil Wayne had to get tapped by Diddy, like all these different people, bro. Like it's crazy.
That's wild.
Yeah, but it just seems so real because it seems like if you really want to be at that level of fame today, you have to do. But that's just coincidence. I think some dudes did things not because they were gay, but because they wanted this rich and fame more than anything in the world, and so they said, "Look, all you gotta do is tag this fool. He's gonna let you. We got dirt on you, and you work for us. You'll live a great life, but once in a while we might need some favors." Yeah. And there's motherfuckers out there who are like, "Fuck it, I'll do it." Yeah. And if you think rapper fools and all these fools that wouldn't be down for that, find out who goes to prison and hooks up still. You You know what I mean? These dudes go to prison, they still get their shit off, bro. They still hook up with they're just like, he's gay anyway. He's giving it.
Let's change the subject on this. This is uncomfortable for me.
This is all Charles Manson talk. What do you mean?
Suge Knight, baby.
Yeah.
Again, but look at where everything takes us,
Charles
bro.
Manson was getting sexually abused in prison too when he was younger. So
in the boys' school, he was too. Yeah,
He got raped when he was a kid.
Yeah. But again, these are things that fucked him up. These are things that
his traumas.
If there's any truth to the fact that he's just this crazy psychopathic dude who had these amazing mental, and verbal capabilities against other people, you can see the trail.
Right.
What is weird and what I like from what I was watching had pointed out is like he was doing petty crimes like all the way up until he was of age. He was only doing petty crimes, stealing money, car theft, robbing places, not with real weapons, and he never hurt anybody when he did have weapons.
Right.
So it's like, how do you make that switch?
He did cut a dude's ear off with a sword before.
That's right.
That's at a young age.
No, he was older.
He was an adult at that point, I think, though.
So,
but
that happens too. Sometimes you just gotta do
normal.
shit.
Yeah. Sometimes I'm playing with my sword and fools walk by. Who owns a sword anyway that's sharp enough to do that, right? Yours is sharp too, though?
Sharp as fuck.
There's definitely a couple people that have
but did you
swords.
play with it?
Yeah, dude. I used to fucking play with it.
Not anymore.
Well, we won't talk about
Yeah.
Wait till Roman sees that. Then you'd be like, ooh.
Yeah.
Swords are pretty cool, actually.
Yeah, Oscar's into, he's like collecting them, but none of them, they're all dull.
Yeah.
But he buys like, samurai swords and all these different types of swords. He likes them right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, so even still with the way he grew up, the whole situation around who he was, there's no way of knowing truthfully why he did what he did or how he became, but the way that they want us to believe it doesn't add up. Yeah. The dots don't connect. These conspiracy theories, absolutely the dots connect, and there's evidence, there's documentation, there's police records, there's files that prove all this stuff. If you go look and research the books and things that were written, like this Helter Skelter book, that was a complete crap story. That the Helter Skelter theory, I think, is crap because that's
the Beatles.
The Beatles thing. Like, come on, bro. Come on.
Do you know that, Dion?
I heard about it, but I didn't go into
there's a Beatles song called Helter Skelter. The song is about a children's amusement park ride. And for some reason, they say that Manson believed that the Beatles were implying about a race war. The song.
Yeah.
So that's where he got the name Helter Skelter from.
That's the theory.
Yeah.
But it's so far-fetched.
I was hearing like he knew he was like in contact with the Beatles. Was he not, Charles Manson?
Not that I know of.
No, the Beach Boys.
The Beach Boys.
Yeah, there's that one dude,
one of the singers.
The one dude, the younger dude, who was actually a Beach Boy. Not like the rest of them were like old cats.
Yeah.
This dude was like a surfer Beach Boy. So he was the one dude who was still in his age group to be able to be a free spirit, have fun, and love these things. So he became really good friends with Charles and the family, and they all stayed in his mansion for a while until one day they just decided to.
And that's kind of how he got into contact with the guy that he was trying to kill, right? Or the guy that was
he met him through
give him a deal.
Yeah.
Okay.
And another trippy thing, man. Some of that dude's music was fucking pretty badass.
I didn't look at any of his music.
I did. There was a whole documentary on his album that I checked out, and he actually made some pretty good songs, man. He could sing pretty decent too.
Was he rapping like hard?
No, he was like, I don't know. It was very like the Doors.
Yeah, it was
kind of like Pink Floyd-ish type stuff, bro. It was pretty cool. So he was actually pretty decently talented too. You know what I mean? So I don't know, man. It's so hard to say. But what trips me out the most is like this particular case being the most notorious one and having so much weird conspiracy theory and backstory on it. He's not just a regular everyday dude like they want you to believe who went crazy. He was tied and connected to celebrities and some fame and had some, his foot in the door. Like, what a weird coincidence, right? Just like Epstein's and all these other people that have, been fall guys or potentially leaders of these crazy situations. Yeah. There's always a connection to celebrities and to some fame. So it's like, is this intentional and this is how the game gets played? Or is it really just a coincidence that he did this, and then we've seen it a million times since then?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's weird because there's always like that thing that's just unexplainable. Like, I mean, Epstein,
it's only unexplainable because they won't answer the questions that everyone wants to have answered. Like, this doesn't make sense. How is there's these documents and this evidence in, you know, the police investigations and all the stuff? People had asked questions. Why didn't this get done? Why did he get off with this? Yeah. They don't answer those questions. They just ignore that stuff and they tell you this is the story. So like, that's why we don't know. That's why these things are unknown, because they're not willing to address, just like today. Who was on the list?
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
Like the main
we'll
thing.
just move past it real quick. By the way, China's going to bomb us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just like distraction, but they avoid and ignore all the things that we should have answered so that we would have some factual, you know, knowledge of what's going on. So yeah, it's a complete game. Mm-hmm. It's an absolute game.
Kennedy was an inside job.
That's a whole nother podcast.
Yeah,
that really is a whole nother podcast.
Another CIA fucking
op. There's a whole nother podcast for sure. Because again, a lot of facts and evidence on the table about that. They just won't address those facts.
Yeah,
it's weird.
Well, and they just use a fall guy. Yeah. Like that's what
history has been. They killed the fall guy.
Yeah. Even their people though, like their people, you know, on their side will get caught with these same crimes that they're busting other people for, but they're just picking and choosing. Like, well, you're on our team, so we're going to completely disregard the fact that you did the same thing that you're accusing of this guy doing, but we're going to get this guy.
Yeah,
that to me is like, that's a dead ringer. It's just like, okay, clearly this stuff's true.
Yeah,
it's weird as fuck, man. What else? Is there anything other like?
Did you hear that? Was it China sent missiles out, or was it Korea?
Oh, it was North Korea.
North Korea
shot a ballistics. Yeah, do that all the time though.
They do. It's a game.
That's why he's a little rocket man.
But then they said we don't know how far they went or where they landed. We're still doing research. It's like, okay, what you didn't see? You know that it happened. So what? Weird.
Yeah.
This is why I love being disconnected from social media, though, bro. Like, because this stuff used to really stress me the fuck out.
Yeah, see,
it really did.
I just think it's like
I got so tired of being stressed and angry about this stuff.
Yeah,
and then nothing ever comes of it anyway. So I'm just like, you know what? I'd rather not know.
Yeah, I haven't heard.
I'd rather be completely oblivious to the fact that we're about to get nuked and then just
die. Yeah,
I'm dead and I won't feel a thing.
Hopefully, you die right away, though. You know,
you will. We will. We're located centrally enough that the big cities that they will hit, we're gone.
You fucking materialized.
I'm gonna go into the water. I feel like that might save me.
You're drowning.
Because I can't swim, or what is it?
No. If there's a nuclear bomb that hits and it causes a tidal wave, bro, a tsunami, yeah, good luck.
I mean, I'll be right at the shore. I'm just gonna like
which body of water?
Like Detroit Lakes water or something.
Okay, so you're gonna stay under there for fucking 60 years or what?
No, I'm gonna like the radius of the nuclear explosion isn't like forever. It's not infinity. I mean, if everybody's blowing bombs, then sure, I'll probably be.
But you're acting like they're just gonna throw one.
Hopefully.
Yeah. No, they're gonna bomb every major military base they can.
We
think
they're
reach.
just gonna send one over. All right, that's
good. They're like 2, 3. Just take out New York and California, and we'll call it good.
We've only dropped like 2.
New York and California is all the people on their team, bro. They're gonna go for all the central states.
Yeah, that's true.
And North Dakota has a retired nuclear site here, but they know that. Yeah. They're going after that stuff.
Yeah.
And we're right here.
I don't know.
Well,
it's over.
They've taken pictures of everything they need to with the balloon anyway. So
yeah.
I mean, anyway, I think that's the conclusion of Charles Manson, man. There's no more theory or stuff to talk about. At the end of the day, all of this stuff is just us talking our shit and seeing what we see. I don't think he's a good person by any means. Whatever he became, that is who he is now or was.
Yep.
But I do believe that there was just a lot more going on there than we understand.
Some shady shit.
Yeah, it wasn't just this guy who became this crazy powerful person overnight one day. He was trained and manipulated to become this person, I believe.
I got a quick question for you. So I have this thing where I struggle where people who are manipulated, and yes, there are case by case things that happen, like obviously young children and things like that, but individuals and especially adults, and I know some people aren't brought up the same way, but if you're able to be manipulated by an individual without force, I feel like you have to take some blame in what happens. So not talking about rape or anything like that, obviously that's a terrible thing, but like in that situation, those people in the Manson family, they need to take a good chunk of responsibility.
Have you ever seen anyone be hypnotized before?
No. Yes. Yeah. For school.
That's just wild, huh?
It is wild.
They're not capable.
I know, but
that's what I mean. Like, how do you have accountability for something your memory, your mind is erased?
I know, but
you know what I mean? Your mind's erased. You have to have a certain mentality.
In the end, though, it's still on you. You still did it. I mean,
to an extent, yeah. If someone drugged you, unbeknownst to you,
yeah,
and convinced you that something was happening and you needed to react a certain way, would you be like, "Hey, it's my fault"?
I mean, kinda, but
they drugged you without you
my
knowing.
moral compass. Especially if I were to hurt somebody else, I would feel.
Do you believe it's possible? Do you believe in hypnosis and MK and all that stuff? The fact that you believe in it makes you more susceptible to it happening to you. Because you have to somewhat believe it can happen before it can happen.
But I'm saying, if I brutally murdered multiple women, my moral compass, even if I found out that happened and I'm being accused of it, I would genuinely feel so bad that I would rather rot in prison than be out in the world.
Oh yeah, I think your response emotions to it for sure. But I would still try to fight. I would be like, somebody drugged me.
Yeah,
I'm really fucking sorry that I did this, but this isn't on me. You know what I mean? Someone fucking manipulated the shit out of me. I wasn't in control. I didn't even know I did this shit. Obviously, the evidence stacked against me proves I did it.
Yeah.
And I feel horrible that I did it. I can't believe I did it, but someone else is responsible for this. That's not what happened in Charlie Manson's case, though.
No,
they all were like, "Nah, yeah, we did that shit.
We did it, yeah."
And he didn't.
She was happy. They were happy about it too.
Yeah, that shit was
it's
weird.
so weird. It's just
it's one of the craziest cases there. But in the process, and you guys probably did this too, there were so many others that started popping up because I'm looking into them, into the Charles Manson one. Mm-hmm. So I started seeing all the Ted Bundy case and all these different ones come up. Man, there's a lot of crazy stuff out there that if you look into it, it starts to trickle back to right where everything trickles back for us.
Just look into it. That's the best.
You just got to look into it. Look into it, and you'll start going, wait, why was that possible? And I didn't know he was tied to the CIA, or I didn't know this. There was involvement. Like, you won't until you research it. But when you research it, you're able to, for some reason, trace everything back, and it's really fucking weird.
Yeah, this was a good one though.
Yeah. Anything you want to add, Cody?
There's a lot of interesting topics that I want to talk about, but for the future podcast.
Yeah.
Cults are super interesting to me.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I do want to do something fitness related again, and I think I want to try and get a guest on, but we need a female guest. So if we don't record something by the time you guys hear this one, and someone that has some actual industry experience, trainer, competitor, coach, whatever it may be, that can come on and talk some gym shit with us, I'd like to do that. Talk some industry talk too for the people that, obviously the majority of the people who listen to us are more gym culture than anything else. Yeah. But I think it'd be fun to bring a female perspective on the show and talk some shit with us about the stuff we talk about. Mm-hmm. And let's just be honest, when we talk like gym etiquette and all this shit, we've never had a woman's perspective. I bet we don't even know half the shit that chicks do in the gym or in this industry that other women know.
Yeah,
is a standard. And I'd love to hear some of that crazy shit, because we know a bunch of fucked up shit about dudes in the gym and what goes on, and we've talked all our shit, but it'd be cool to have a female perspective and get them to tell us some of the dark secrets of the industry from a woman's perspective.
Yeah,
for
sure. You know what I mean? Because I'm sure there's some crazy stuff out there.
Yeah,
but we'll have to make that happen. Otherwise, I think for now we're done.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, tell your friends about us, talk shit. Good shit, bad shit, just talk it.
Mm-hmm.
Dion loves you.
For the most part.
We're fucking out.